Rick Harrison, and this is my pawn shop. I work here with my old man and my son, Big Hoss. Everything in here has a story and a price. One thing I've learned after 21 years, you never know what is going to come through that door.
Gaming is in session! Order in the court, order in the court. Listen, gentlemen, this is my court. This is the Honorable Adam. And today we have the plaintiff, Scott, who is arguing that video games are a waste of time and for children. The defendant, Alex, is arguing the opposite. And gentlemen, listen, there will be order in this court. You will follow my rules and my jurisdiction. Now, each individual will have 3 points to present. Each point, I will allot a time limit of 2 minutes. I will cut you off, and I will also give you a 30-second warning during that time period. So an example would be individual 1 presents their point, and then after that point is presented, the second individual will have 1 minute of rebuttal, of counterpoint, and then that 2-minute time period to present their next point. At the end of this deliberation, this presentation, I will single-handedly deliberate with myself. A verdict will be brought down and handed to this court in which you must respect. Gentlemen, are you ready for your opening arguments and the decision on who will begin this court presentation?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready to defend the honor of all gamers.
All right.
Let's get it on.
Alex, I will let you begin by both of you choosing a number of fingers. You will be the even individual, and Scott, you will be odd. You will sum the number of fingers. Whether it's even or odd, you will have the decision to present first or make the other defend first.
All right, give us a countdown.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Now. 5. So, Scott, you have the decision. Would you like to present your point or let
This isn't
Alex...
fair. I should get to go first because I'm defending.
Well, too bad.
What's the logic
Don't
there?
you challenge me. Scott, would you like to present first or make Alex present?
Well, I would like to present first, but since Alex has requested, I'll let him go first.
How magnanimous. All right. I want to clarify the court. We had a guy coming in here hot and heavy with opinions, and I can't let these fly. It was an affront to all gamers saying that video games are a waste of time. Not only did that burn my hide, he also said that they were only for kids. Listen, I'm not a kid. I'm a grown man. I'm a master debater. I've been in this realm my entire life, and I'm ready to take you to school. I'm an educator of facts, and I'm going to bring you the facts. And I'm going to bring you a fact right now. Number 1, games are a waste of time. Why? Because they're a method of incentivizing technological advancement. This is something you probably didn't think about. It's not going to be in your books. It's not going to be in your legal history. This isn't something you're going to find out on the streets, playing games, reading your science books. Here's the deal. In a world where scientific funding is funded only by the elites in their government on their white towers sitting there looking down on us. They control what we're going to study. You know how you can control what we're going to study? The advances we're going to make with technology? By playing video games. What do you think they're going to do with that supercomputer technology? No, they're just going to figure out ways to break the tax codes. No, we have video games as a way to provide entertainment for gamers, of course, but it's also a capitalist venture to ensure that processing power, graphical power, computer technology is going to advance. We're talking in multiple realms. Ray tracing has been pushed to the forefront by gaming. Artificial intelligence has been pushed to the forefront by gaming. Internet connectivity and speed has been pushed to the forefront by gaming. And all of that has been incentivized by this huge market of video games that exists simply to entertain. So while you might feel, while you might feel like you're wasting your time playing a video game, Scott, you're not, because what you're doing is you're providing financial incentive for these companies to create new technologies and advance new technologies and make more and more money with this advanced technology. And they're doing it for you, and they're doing it for the world. And when we finally have fusion reactor and instantaneous internet and teleportation, it's all going to be because video games finance that venture. Video games aren't a waste of time. You're a waste of time for thinking they're a waste of time.
Expired. Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome. Did I win?
Plaintiff, your 1 minute rebuttal period will begin now.
Okay. Yeah, because as we all know, the Teslas of this country and are being powered by Nintendo level CPU. Give me a break. No.
They're powered by GPUs. You can play The Witcher 3 on your Tesla.
Hey, this is the plaintiff's time.
Thank you. The short of it is, okay, so you're telling me that video games built the supercomputers and the internet? No, the military and big business are driving technological advancement, and all of the gaming consoles out there are lagging decades behind.
What do you think Call of Duty
what the military has already accomplished? And it's free market capitalist competition between IBM and Microsoft, and you've got it's Xbox. This is what's driving technological advancement. And not only that, but government funding scientific laboratories. It used to be wealthy donors like Rockefeller would be funding science. Now we prefer tax funding it. These things, we have these national laboratories, the military, and big businesses, not necessarily big, but you could have mechanical engineers doing curiosity experiments and so on. But to suggest
your counterpoint time period has ended. Are you prepared to give your opening statement and your first point?
Almost. Let me scroll back up here on my notepad.
While he catches up on his malarkey, I just want to say Call of Duty, Modern Warfare, Microsoft, they make the Xbox. Thank you very much. Every single video game console has an IBM processor in it because that is what is going to be, that is what motivates it.
And guess who made it? IBM, a business, not a video game developer.
All right. Is your first point prepared?
Yes.
Let's hope it's better than his rebuttal.
All right. Your time period will begin now.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. I was not prepared to present only one point at a time. So to say briefly, this is a problem that's affecting half the nation, according to Harvard. We'll get more on that later. So this is a very big deal, very big problem. The 3 points that I'm going to discuss in total are that video games are distracting you from the purpose of your life and potentially thwarting the intended end goal of it. It's hurting your life and it's hurting the lives of other people. These are my 3 points. So the first point, I may be causing someone to win a bet here, but because one of you knows me and what my character is like, but it's a distraction from the purpose of our life. Okay, so this knowledge of further reality beyond what's right in front of us, in particular, a certain Jesus of Nazareth, I'm going to say, and what happened historically in the past, and then what's going to happen to us after we die, and to learn like what happened, what is real, and why are we here on this planet. If you're wasting your time in fiction, just enjoying little stories and or just boxing games and all this stuff. This has nothing to do with reality, nothing to do with why you're here and what's happened before you, what's going to happen after you. So we need to be spending our time learning about reality, not filling our mind. 30, thank you. Not filling our mind with both sometimes literal nonsense, otherwise just pleasure that has no meaning, or fiction that is not connected to our reality here. So that would be the first point. And then the other points are building on that. So it's imperative, especially if the survivor theory is correct, that we continue to exist after we die. This could have huge, like inconceivably large ramifications on ourselves. So it's imperative that we don't waste time on game.
I apologize. Must cut you off.
Rebuttal time. Master debater, or is this pastor debater? Oh my goodness. Let's get in here. You talk about little stories. Here's the thing about little stories. Let me tell you about a guy who liked little stories. His name was Jesus, and he had little stories called parables. Parables that teach you lessons. They strengthen your mind with logical puzzles, and they cause you to solve problems mentally. That's what video games are doing. Video games have the power to be modern parables. You can tell small stories. The other thing about the purpose of your life, surviving after your life, what are you going to do? Video games with the advances of technology is going to give you an afterlife. You can upload your consciousness to this multiple reality, and you can exist in a multiverse, a metaverse, if you will, Dr. Zuckerberg. And it's going to allow you to really realize this future reality that you might want to see after your life. And to talk about reality, are you telling me it's not real when I'm upstairs shaking my ass to Beyonce and Just Dance, burning calories and bonding with my daughter? That's reality, baby. That's the real deal. And that's video games.
And that's your time. Are you prepared for your second point, defendant?
Yeah, I'm prepared.
All right, your time will begin now.
Studies have shown in the University of Oxford that it is possible to expand spatial memorization techniques through the forms of virtual immersion. Video games help your spatial reasoning abilities. It's possible to expand your ability to solve spatial problems, to remember spatial locations, and flex your ability to handle what would typically only be handled by matrix multiplication. There's a difference between seeing something drawn in 2D on a piece of paper or seeing something in like a movie or reading a book than it is experiencing it, tackling these problems with yourself, and maintaining a virtual mindset in your brain, a 3D space that you're navigating in with controls that you have, whether it be through a controller, it's still your brain processing the movement through this space. Now, while you're just playing a game and you're progressing through a story is one thing, but you are flexing your ability to survive in another location, to take in information from another location, to memorize that location, and to adapt rapidly. This is something you can't do with books. This is something you can't do with movies. This is something you can't do with typical forms of art. But with the engagement of video games, you have the ability to go into a space, explore the space, realize the space, and then control the space and affect the space around you. It's a new form of brain flexing, of brain utilization, and it's not something that you can have anywhere else. So while you're just playing a game, while you're getting headshots in Call of Duty, your mind's doing complex calculations that the very calculations that we evolved to be able to do when we were in the hunter-gatherer phase of our life. And we're just continuing to evolve, and video games are accelerating that evolution. And it's a wonderful thing. It's something we couldn't accelerate before. Now we're accelerating at a faster pace than we ever could before because we don't need to hunt anymore. So we lost
30-second limit or
okay.
warning.
I see the rest of my time because I'm making a hole-in-one case. Oh no, how many seconds I got? 15 seconds? Video games are great. Not video games are bad. Is that is it the Beatles? Was that in the Peter Jackson movie that just came out?
Nope.
Don't care because your time's up. All right, plaintiff. Are you prepared to rebuttal that argument?
Yes.
Your time will begin now.
Okay, so everything he just said is better suited to something we call going to the park, going to the playground. All those things about navigating 3 dimensions. Guess what? We have that at the park and the playground. And as for developing a spatial reasoning, build toy models. You can, my nephew is building Lego kits and toy planes and things, and these continue to exist without consuming electricity all the time just to try to stare at it in front of a TV screen. This is a real model you can actually pick up with your hands.
Oh, did he make Lego blocks out of clay?
Interrupter.
Actually, do you mind if I interrupt? I will provide you some time.
Okay.
I need a quick recess because
Sure.
I need to crack that pack. We got a Pokemon Celebrations pack real quick. I gotta open it. I've been dying. I've been waiting all day. I hope I get the Charizard.
And look, he's practicing his motor skills opening this pack.
He needs to play more games so he can get his timing down.
Oh, look at that, a real thing that he's holding in his hands.
Look at that, it's a full art Pikachu.
That's pretty
I got
cute.
a 5. You may proceed. I have added time to your rebuttal period.
So building models, including opening packages, as you just did, is working on your spatial skills. And a detriment of video games here, you lose out on gross and fine motor skills if you're not doing fine things with your hands as a child. So if you are on a computer screen the whole time, you could actually be developmentally retarded in that capacity, losing the spatial, the ability to manipulate space with your hands because you were busy doing this the whole time, that you never learned how to do this and other.
This man never played VR. This man never played VR, never played on a DS.
All right, your rebuttal period has ended. Are you prepared to give your second point?
Yes.
All right, I will begin your time now.
Hey, so when you play video games, you're actually hurting other people by what you're failing to do and what you're neglecting to do. We're here to be making the world a better place, which you are not accomplishing when you're sitting alone in a room. In particular, this creator of our reality put us here to do works of mercy, feed the hungry, give drink to the thirsty, shelter the homeless, visit the sick, visit prisoners, bury the dead, give alms to the poor, which means you have to make money first so you can give it to people who don't have it, counsel the doubtful, instruct the ignorant, admonish the sinner, comfort the sorrowful, forgive injuries, bear wrongs patiently, pray for the living and the dead. These things, helping other people, is what we're here for. And you sit in front of a television enjoying some story, pleasuring yourself with the graphics and music, and you're just staring at a screen. You're not helping anyone else. You're not accomplishing the things that you're put here to do. You start up businesses to create products that people need to solve their problems, making money, giving it to poor people who need money, and hanging out, going to hospitals, visiting sick people, going to prisons, visiting them there. All these things that we're supposed to be doing to develop our character are being neglected for the sake of this. So
Your
that's
30-second warning
second point
period.
made. Let's see what else to say to add on to that. So that's also hurting you when you're missing out on this relationship with other people that you're not helping. So you miss out as well as them.
All right, your period is pretty much up. We'll count that. Defendant, are you prepared to refute what was just presented?
I think the existence, the fact that I play video games and I'm having this discussion is one of these charitable acts that I'm performing for Mr. Scott here. I'm forming a relationship with him because I play video games and he has such a misguided opinion. So it's part of my video games have caused me to enter the space where I am able to help him. So without video games, I wouldn't be able to assist him and set him in his ways. Let's put aside the fact that there's multiplayer games out there. There's MMORPGs out there where people do create strong, long-lasting relationships where people do start small businesses, looking at things like Second Life, looking at things like skin creators, graphic designers that are contributing to these online multiplayer spaces, and they're making careers out of it, and they're creating artwork that's being sold in and used in video games. Putting aside the fact that young children are learning how to make computers manually in Minecraft because that technology doesn't exist outside of the virtual world. These are all things that are good and provide a purpose for life, but the video games aren't hurting me. The only character we need to develop is our characters in Final Fantasy and get them up to level 99.
I'm not afraid to get the Baylor.
Yeah.
It will mess you up. Are you prepared?
Is that a summon? Is that a summon from Tifa?
Yes.
I haven't played Final Fantasy. Is Tifa somebody you play as?
She is.
Is she the one with the tickle bitties?
Yes.
Am I going to get held in contempt?
In Final Fantasy VII is where she's from. Are you prepared to give your final point in this discussion, in this courtroom?
Yeah. And I think it's the most important point. Am I ready?
You may begin.
I want to bring up the point that I think has allowed me to have the success that I have in my life. And it's something that's been granted me and flexed in video games. And it is the incentivized problem solving with the ever shifting rule structures. Every video game has a different engine, more or less. Every video game has a different set of rules. And even within a game, the rules might change on a whim. With video games, with level progression, with looter shooters, with any kind of, winning scenario that a game provides, you are incentivized to win, but you're also incentivized to solve problems. Problem solving is one of the key tenets of education. It's one of the things that's most gratifying that you can have in life. And video games allows you to solve problems and test your ability to solve problems. Whether or not these problems you're solving have real life ramifications, it enables you to be able to solve problems in real life because you've practiced with this ever-changing rule set. And if life is anything, it's ever changing. The rule sets are constantly changing for you, and you got to be prepared for that. Video games offer a preparation. The rules are going to change in life. How are you going to handle it? If you play these games, you have the different game modes, you have new struggles that are coming your way. You've prepared your life down one path, you're suddenly thrown down a different path, and you got to overcome that. That's what games are allowing you to do. Whereas in real life, you're slowly moving. You never know if you're going to encounter something different. And when you do encounter something different, if you're not prepared, you're going to get steamrolled, just like you're getting steamrolled tonight in the Master Debater session. I cede my time.
All right. Point ended. Plaintiff, are you prepared for your 1 minute counterpoint argument?
Yes.
Your time begins.
So his main points were about rules constantly changing and problem solving. Both of these you get more experience with in the real world, primarily socialization and in being out in society where unexpected things will happen. Even things like fender benders when you're a car. Anyway, to get to that. So then for problem solving, that's better done math, physics in particular, science, engineering, physics, engineering. Imagine how much.
You can't do that when you're 5.
How much earlier.
You can't do that as a kid.
Okay, you can't do that as a kid. You can do math and physics and science as a kid and get started early.
You can start doing it before you can read with video games.
Will you let him finish his point, defendant?
It's not a point if it's bad.
So we'll get back to that. For changing rules, socialization.
Give me my time back.
What?
I ceded the time. Give it back to me. How many seconds do I have? 15 seconds?
Order in this court. We will take turns.
That's fine. We have it back and forth here. Yeah, I mean, so sure. Let's see. Okay, so you can't read when you're a kid. You can't. What age are you talking about? I was about to say. I mean, there's puzzles that kids can do that they can work on, block puzzles. You don't have to be able to read to be able to. So I got to buy new blocks
every day, as opposed to just playing one game with the rule set right there. Sounds very privileged to constantly be having these blocks, have playgrounds outside your front door.
No, you're not you can go to the library.
You're not living in the middle of a winter tundra like I am.
You don't have libraries in the winter tundra land?
They're illegal here.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
can we get fact check? Because if that's a lie in the courtroom, you're in big trouble, mister.
Perjury.
That's right.
Well, that's a good point. I have to concede that video games can enable certain things that would be very expensive to make.
Yeah, like building a computer in Minecraft. When Minecraft is free, as opposed to building a computer and getting your own electrical circuit board to build a computer. And then if you screw something up, you burn it and you fry it and you got to buy a new one. In Minecraft, if you mess something up, you just scrap it. Is it time for his third crappy point?
Yeah, probably.
First of all, you cannot address the plaintiff that directly and that derogatorily, as I made that
Thank
word
you,
up.
Queef.
But
Permission to approach the bench.
Permission to fry you in the chair if you don't stop lying and interrupting this courtroom. Now, plaintiff, are you prepared
you
to
let
give
me
your
win?
final point?
Yes, I'm prepared for my final point here.
All right, your time will begin now.
Okay, finally, we could say that video games are unhealthy for you. I mentioned Harvard at the beginning. Harvard, this physician in December 2020 and their health blog, he writes that video games can cause carpal tunnel, tendonitis, social withdrawal, loss of pleasure, loss of interest, loss of relationship, educational and career opportunity loss, escapism rather than personal growth to overcome life challenges, lack of self-control, sleep deprivation, insomnia, depression, anxiety, aggression, desensitization to violence, which then promotes loss of empathy, increasing the probability of committing violence. Gaming stifles children's ability to overcome challenges as they prefer to avoid confronting them by escaping into video games, particularly when they're in middle school. Further loss of socialization. In fact, here's from a 2021 Canadian Journal of Family and Youth. Video games are so bad for children that researchers aren't even asking whether they're bad. Instead, they're asking the question of how much benefit can be had from parents regulating and managing their use like drugs, basically. How you have to, in moderation, like alcohol, which is not good for you in the first place. Let's see. I was going to say something else in connection. Oh yeah, physically unhealthy. The Netherlands, Radboud University, again, this year published findings that for the musculoskeletal problems from being sedentary, we usually say obesity, but it's just when you're not using your body, you get these problems from sitting for too long. Sure. This is a positive feedback loop that video games can cause because gaming makes you less aware of your body's signals. So you get more dehydrated in addition to when you sit for too long and you start to make your body all achy. Like video games make that even worse since you're not aware of it because you lose sense of what your body's doing. And then otherwise, let's see. Finally, for children, video games are often designed to waste time with side quests and things to keep children busy so their parents can do what they want.
To interrupt you. That is your time for your third point. One thing I will ask if each individual would like to present a closing argument. Or
I have a counterpoint opportunity, do I not, Judge? Yeah, it's his last point. He just presented his last point. I get to do it. I get to do a counterpoint.
Yeah, he gets a minute.
Okay, you
right.
are correct. I apologize.
This was the most appalling point because it lacked any scientific rigor. He's applauding the fact that these researchers.
3 citations.
He's applauding the fact that these researchers out of the gate said, we're not going to look at the effects of video game. We're going to assume it's bad. What kind of a hypothesis is that? I'm going to do the same thing. We have research. We're not even going to look to see if water's healthy. We're going to assume it's bad and see how bad water can be if you have too much water. If you have too much water, you drown. If you have too much water, if you have too much water, your cells will release they'll kill themselves to try to prevent from getting overhydrated. Similarly, if you exercise too much, you'll undergo what's called rhabdomyolysis, where your body starts to eat itself. You know what? You know how to prevent rhabdomyolysis? It's called taking a break. Nobody said you have to only play video games and not exercise, only play video games and not read books, only play video games and not socialize with people. You can socialize while playing video games. You can exercise while playing video games. You can get busy, as you were saying, while playing video games. You can play video games with your children. There are good games and there are bad games, just like there's good food and bad food, just like there's good books and bad books and good outside activities and bad outside activities. Video games are great.
Your time is up.
Can I get 10 to 15 seconds to clarify?
No. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
I know who's sleeping with a judge tonight.
About the researchers not even asking the question, that was my comment on this paper I found was a literature review with multiple different studies. And we can link it in the show notes or something if you like, but these are multiple papers and it's just an established fact. It's not that the researchers weren't assuming it. It's just something that's known.
So you skip the hard part of proving that they're bad and you just assumed it's bad. I'm going to skip the hard part of proving that video games are good and just assume they're good. There we go. Now we're at a stalemate. Done. Closing arguments. Give me the title.
All right. You have given me much to deliberate and consider. And during a quick recess, I will single-handedly deliberate myself and we'll see what comes out. Okay. Order back in this court. After deliberation, this single hand has deliberated hard and fast and repeatedly for hours. And I am in favor of the plaintiff. The thing is, having hard actual studies to present to the
faulty
court,
studies.
and the defendant seemed to be defending and counterpointing more than actually providing valid results himself. I feel like
logic,
the jury
whereas this guy
and myself, the plaintiff, has struck to our core and what we are as humans. Life is bigger than games and just experiences and problem solving.
Life is a game. This is
tried
stupid.
To make.
Okay,
Thank you
know
for
what?
your time.
I'll provide the logic.
My decision is final. Scott, debater, please take your crown. And Alex, as the loser, please take your bean.
Spin the damn bean thing.
I don't.
I got it. I got it.
Choice. You take
Toothpaste.
whatever bean you want.
Hold on, no, we'll do it live. You're not going to trust me as toothpaste. Freaking kangaroo court. I call an appeal.
No kangaroo court in here. How does it feel to be the master debater, Scott?
We got banana smoothie or dead fish.
Oh, dead fish is nasty.
Only dead fish I know is what you got in between your pants, Judge.
Oh, listen.
So
between
I got a story about that dead
Pikachu
fish.
and then Scott being the new master debater, I'm on cloud nine, and that's dead fish. Court is adjourned. Have you recently purchased a new game console, a new game, or just in the mood for a long gaming session? Whether you are preparing for Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West, just got the hottest handheld on the market, or going hard like an esporter, you have to prepare yourself. For instance, look at these hands. They are weak, dainty. They can't snipe a Nazi 350 yards away. They wouldn't even be able to get through Viridian Forest without cramping up. Do your hands look like this? Well, if so, don't fret. Gaming is in session, and we are going to show you some practical exercises to prepare yourself for gaming glory. To begin, you need to warm your muscles, tendons, and fingers prior to stretching. Much like a hamstring, a pulled muscle in your hand will leave you sidelined. This stretch is fast and furious. Take one hand and create a cup-like shape that will allow the fingers of your other hand to enter. Slide your fingers in and out rapidly. Do this for all fingers on all hands. This warms the muscles in your fingers and prepares them for further stretching and exercise. A very important first exercise you can do at a stoplight, on the toilet, or the 3 seconds it takes a PS5 to start up. Here is another quick exercise to warm up the entire hand. We can't just focus on the fingers here, folks. Palms play a very important part in your gaming success. The best exercise here is to cup your hand, place it under the axilla, and flap your arm. Not only does it stretch the arm, but the body heat will warm and prepare the wrist, palm, and hand for vigorous exercise. Next, now that our fingers are warm, we want to start to stretch those muscles and increase their range of motion. First, find some balls, trinkets, or doodads. I'm using these fake Halloween eyeballs here, but it really doesn't matter what you use. Put those items in both pockets and use your hands to rapidly and somewhat sporadically toss them around in your pants. By not seeing the items, you are relying more on the feel. The quick movements help your dexterity and response time. Both these will be beneficial to you. One note, do not, I repeat, do not do this in the corner by yourself. Don't do it. Don't even think about it. In fact, right now, I want you to promise me, put in the comments that you will not stretch your fingers in the corner by yourself. You look like a weirdo and you'll look foolish. This is best done in a public or around people. Don't act like you're doing anything wrong. Be proud. You'll soon have the limberest fingers within a 10-mile radius. Our final exercise is a strange one. Place your hands palm to palm, turn so the top of your right hand is toward the sky, and stretch your thumb as far to the left as possible. Now raise your hands together and smack your hands over your forehead. This really stretches the tendons and muscles between your fingers and thumbs. This is imperative for competitive gameplay and will really loosen up your hands. Do this for 20 repetitions and your hands are all prepared for some intense action. Next, and this is optional, you may want to use external lotions, creams, or products to give you a nice smooth feeling to your hands rather than the potentially rough texture of skin. My personal favorite is a nice skin lotion. Not too much though, you don't want them to feel slippery. Experiment with various products to see what you like best, but be sure to get the product all the way through the fingers, crevices, and lather it up real nice like. Now look at these same hands. They are muscular, lean, and ooze confidence. I've recently tested these hands with some rigorous hand action and they have performed admirably. If you follow this guide, your hands can be just like these. Thanks for watching, and if you have any other hand stretches, let us know. Happy gaming, folks.
I've been playing a lot of Resident Evil 4 in VR on the Quest, and it's been a blast, but I'm really just left with one question.
What are you buying? What are you selling?
All right, Adam. So what are you buying? What are you selling? I'm going to hit you with some deals that are popping off here at the end of the year, and I want to know if you're going to buy it, if you're going to sell it. Does that sound good?
The thing is, Alex, you know, I'm borderline a perpetual seller. Something's got to be good to get me hyped. So I don't think you're going to really get me that excited, but let's see what you got.
Yeah. I mean, it's the holidays. You know, you're not getting good deals on like new video game consoles. Believe you me, I just had to pay full price for an Xbox Series S and I'm not excited about it. One thing you don't have to pay full price for, Adam, is Stadia. And I don't know if you know much about Stadia, but I'm digging Stadia. Stadia, when it came out, was $80. Came with a controller and a Chromecast and 1 month of Stadia Pro. Now you can get it for $22.99. That's a Chromecast Ultra, Adam, just for Chromecast use. You can watch whatever you're watching, all your hubs and everything like that. You can cast it to your TV, get it on the big screen for $22.99. That's a deal in and of itself, but it comes with a controller and access to the Stadia library. Adam, I can add you to my Google family, and you can play all the Stadia games that I have. Adam, are you familiar with Stadia, the game streaming service?
I want to know if you add me to your real family.
We'll be in discussion. You got to start into the Stadia family, and then if you're doing good, we'll add you to the real family. Yeah.
Okay, so here's where I'm coming with this. You convinced me to try Stadia. They had a 1 or 2 month free trial, and I tried it. And the game sucked. There was one you wanted me to play. I forgot the name of it. It was like
Borderlands
a really
3?
bad Duke Nukem clone.
Serious Sam?
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Horrible game. Horrible.
Hmm.
Everything on there was garbage. I'm not interested in this, but tell us what the prices were again.
Yeah, so you can get a Stadia Premiere from Google directly for $22.99. So that comes with the controller. Your issue when you played Stadia was you were playing on computer, so you had to use mouse click. You couldn't use a controller to play it. They've made advances. You can use this controller to play it. It's a very good controller. It feels comfortable. It's nice. You can play. It connects through Wi-Fi, so you have no latency. It's really good. A lot of games come out. A lot of modern games have come out. You name a big game, Judgment, which you were interested in, that's out for it. Chorus just came out for it, big hitter that released this week. Avengers, a lot of basically every big Ubisoft game comes out for it. So you got a lot of good stuff there. Or you don't want to get it for $22.99. Say there's a game that you do want to play, but maybe you haven't found a PlayStation 5 yet. You don't have an Xbox Series X yet, but you want to get into this next gen-ish action. $29.99. You buy a game on Stadia for $29.99. They will give you a free Stadia Premiere. You can't beat that. You get a game, a high quality game, and a controller, and a Chromecast Ultra for $29.99. Adam, are you buying or are you selling?
I mean, I'm definitely selling. I'm trying to think what could convince me. There's too much, man. There's too much with Xbox and Nintendo and PlayStation and Stadia. I think you got to stay in your lane. Otherwise, you become someone like you who owns all this crap and you only play it 5 hours a week because there's too much of it. I'm not interested. I'm sticking with my PS5. I'm in Persona 5. It's a freaking long game. I'll finish it when I'm 65. I'm selling. I'm assuming you're buying. What are you trying to bring up next that maybe they'll change the tides of my grumpiness?
Grumpy. Well, I am buying. I bought Stadia. I bought the $22.99 to get an extra controller, and then I bought a game and got another free one. Yeah, I know. I am a sucker. Moving on, Adam. PlayStation Plus. The games got announced that are coming out for December. It's already December. We should have these. For those who don't know, here are the games coming out. Adam, I want you to tell me if you're buying or selling these games individually. We already know you bought PlayStation Plus. Imagine you didn't have it. Would you buy PlayStation Plus to get these games? Right off the top of the list, Placestradamus. He's right. He's correct twice. That's 100% accuracy, 200% accuracy on this prediction. Godfall is a PlayStation Plus game. Again, Godfall Challenger Edition. It has new characters. It has new settings, I guess new levels, but you don't get access to the single player, which is weird because you did in the old one. So I don't know how this game pops up twice, but Adam, are you buying or selling PlayStation Plus based on the access to Godfall?
Here's the thing. Oh, I don't think I would only buy PlayStation Plus just for this. I am going to download it. I was critical of the game. I was never as critical as you were. It's a good game if you just want to kind of mindlessly play. It's really pretty. It's very smooth. The gameplay is a little slow, but again, it looks pretty. I've kind of wanted to play it off and on in the past year and a half since I've had my PS5 because I bought it as a launch title and haven't played it. I beat it. Anyhow, you're not missing anything by missing the single player story. The plot was predictable and pretty bad. So don't feel like you're getting shortchanged. Don't not download it because you don't have the single player campaign, because you're not missing what made the game special. What made the game special is it's pretty, it's fast, the frame rates are great, it's a good PS5 game. So download it if you have a PS5. A PS4, definitely don't worry about it. I'm buying. You're probably going to sell because you hate it.
I'm definitely selling because the whole premise of the game was like, it's a PS5 game. We can't do this on PS4. Also, there's not going to be any DLC. Guess what? They released it on the PS4, so that went out the window. And apparently there's DLC because that's how they're able to offer it on PlayStation Plus again. Not to mention the fact the game is boring as hell. The story's nonsensical. The combat's boring. It could be good, but the enemies are all the same. It's just, I'm selling that one hard. But up next, we got Mortal Shell. Adam, I don't know too much about this game, but I know that it's a Souls-like. It's like Dark Souls, but a little bit sci-fi futuristic too. And it's got some weird stuff like hardening, I guess, instead of parrying. I remember watching some reviews when it came out thinking, I'm not going to buy this at full price, but now that it's free, I certainly want to take the plunge. Spoiler warning, I'm buying this one. How about you, Adam?
There are some things that I have learned in my life. One is to always buy the PlayStation Plus games. I struck a deal with someone recently that if I play Hollow Knight, which they really love, they will play Nier Automata. I know what you're thinking. Adam, you got the short end of the stick on that one. You're getting screwed. Hollow Knight probably sucks. I know, but Nier Automata is a life-changing experience, and I'm going to have to buy the stupid Hollow Knight game because when it was free on PlayStation Plus, I looked at it, was like, that looks bad. I'm not buying it. I didn't get it, and now I'm going to have to pay for it. I learned my lesson. I am buying Mortal Shell.
I don't know if it has the status that Hollow Knight has because people love Hollow Knight. Everybody's like, Mortal Shell's pretty good. But, I think it's a good one to get. Up next, Adam, I know how much you love comic books. Lego DC Supervillains. Are you buying or selling that bad boy?
So I've learned a few things in my life. One of them is to love Legos. I have a Lego set that is kind of a little TV. It's Mario, and it's one of the like Nintendo Mario sets. Real cool. I love it. Second thing I learned is sometimes don't buy the PlayStation Plus games. I know I'm counteracting myself, but I don't care. Lego is stupid. I'd rather play with Legos than, I'm going to pull a pastor debater. I'm going to give credit to the master debater and say that, no, I'm going to play with Legos. I'm not playing a Lego game. Stupid. I'm not buying it. I'm selling it hard.
I'm certainly going to download this game because it's free, or at least purchase it in my basket. I'm never going to touch it. Here's the one thing I want to say about Lego, and it's probably the only avenue where this exists. Lego makes DC games and they make Marvel games. The Lego universe is the only universe wherein DC and Marvel coexist. That's pretty interesting, I think, although I doubt they're going to make a crossover game. But I don't care about DC, and I sure as hell don't care about their villains. I can't imagine why I would want to play this game unless it's some kind of dramatic departure from the typical Lego games. I'm selling this one.
But you're buying it, so.
But I'm really buying it, but I want to sell it. I'm buying it so I can. Anyways, moving on, Adam. Adam, there was news recently, rumors, pretty good rumors. I mean, like I said, I got an Xbox Series S. One of the big things for that is that Game Pass is there, so you get the Game Pass. You got 60 games or so you can play on the Series S. They're top notch. Sony is rumored to be coming out with their own version of this. They call it Project Spartacus, and it's going to be like an inherent library of top-notch PlayStation games that you could be playing as long as you subscribe to the service. Think about it as like a Netflix of video games on your PlayStation. Adam, I know you're a Scrooge. I know you're stingy. Game Pass costs about $10 a month on top of the Xbox Live account that allows you multiplayer that normally corresponds to PlayStation Plus. Let's assume for a second that you're going to be paying $40 a year for PlayStation Plus, because that's usually what you get it when you have a deal. How much more are you willing to pay for Project Spartacus? Imagine you had Project Spartacus and games like God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West came out at launch for free on Project Spartacus. How much would you be willing to pay for this service?
So there are a lot of variables here. I am going to assume that nothing changes on the PlayStation Store wise.
Right.
And you'll see when I explain. Second of all, I'm going to ignore the fact that you just said Forbidden West is going to be free if you get it, because there's no way that's the case. There's just no way.
No, that's what Game Pass does. Halo's free. The new Halo coming out is going to be free if you have Game Pass.
I mean, good for them. Forbidden West is going to be a multi-million-dollar venture to just throw into that. I have a hard time believing that.
Okay, can you eat like 10 beans when it comes out and it's free on Project Spartacus? Can we just make a note?
10 is a lot.
Yeah, you're being stupid. That's why you got to eat 10 beans. 5.
Anyhow, here's why I'm selling on this, and it's because think about it. So you have PlayStation Now. When this Spartacus, you're gonna have PlayStation Now. You're gonna have PlayStation Plus, and they're bundling in. I don't know everything that this entails, but PS1, PS2, and PSP games. Well, PS Now I don't want. I don't want to play any PS1, PS2, or PSP games. And every now and then I do take the PS Plus games and I want to play online. So 2 of the 3 things I'm paying for with this new Spartacus, I don't want. So I'm paying extra for what I don't want. And I know you're going to mention, oh, there's going to be free games. Well, when I look right now on my PlayStation account, they've got the PlayStation I think that's called PlayStation Collection, and that's got The Last of Us, and that's already has God of War, and that has Days Gone, and it has Persona 5. It has all their best hits right there. I can download for free. Then I'm already going to have PlayStation Plus. They're throwing free 3 free games at me every month. So I don't think it's going to be worth it for me. I don't want to pay the extra for crap I'm not going to use. And so if I'm assuming I'm paying $40 a year for PlayStation Plus from a deal, I'll be realistic. I'll go $65. Any more than that, they can go F themselves.
So 60, so that's combining PlayStation Plus and Spartacus, $65 annually.
Yes.
That's pretty low. I would go probably to $100 a year to get
of course
these free
you
games
would.
when they come
You
out.
would probably pay $169 because you're a big sucker.
Oh, Adam, I know you're not an Xbox gamer. Xbox Game Pass has been a very successful venture. That's why Sony is trying to crib the idea. Let's think for a second that you are an Xbox gamer. Think about games that you like to play. I think they just released all the Kingdom Hearts games on there, all the Yakuza games, which is something you'd probably be interested in if you actually just, grew a pair and dove in. $9.99 a month. You can get Game Pass for $9.99. $10 a month. You have a library of like 60 games, top-notch AAA games, new games coming out at launch. Are you buying or selling that?
I mean, if I had an Xbox, is this something where you're locked in for a year, or can you cancel it after 3 months?
You cancel it so you can download the games, but it does a license check when you try to play it. So if you're offline, you can't play it. If you lose internet connection, you can't play it. But as long as you have an active account, you can play these games as much as you want, as long as they're offered in Game Pass. But yeah, you can cancel it. There's probably a deal if you get it annually. I don't know. But $10 a month and you can cancel it. Yeah.
So that's probably what I would do. I would get it for 1 or 2 months, play all 3 of the Kingdom Hearts games, play about 200 hours of Kingdom Hearts, and then I'd cancel it and not turn it on until they bring Nier into the Game Pass world or another series. So that price isn't that bad. I'm assuming you now have an Xbox. You are going to purchase this, right?
I mean, I already did purchase. I've had it for a while. That's how I played Outer Wilds, actually. And I think Final Fantasy, a couple of them were released on there as well. So it's a pretty good deal. I'm certainly buying Game Pass, and I'll be certainly buying Project Spartacus as well when it comes out. And then I'll probably stop buying games because that's way too many for me to have and try to wield. It's a good way to stay a part of the zeitgeist, if you know what I mean. You get to play the latest games. But I don't know what. It's funny to me that you want to pay $9.99 a month for Xbox Game Pass, but you won't pay more than $20 a year to get Project Spartacus.
Because I'm not going. First, I'm getting Game Pass for $10 a month for 2 months. And yeah. I'm not going to pay all that money for Spartacus when I only need 1 of the 3 things. And the 1 of the 3 things I already have for $40 a year. You know what? You don't know what I'm buying. I know what I'm buying. I'm not going to tell you, but I am going to tell you what I'm selling. And that's this segment.
For the charges of 3 counts of shaking hands with the milkman, this gamer court finds you guilty. Gamer court adjourned.